Hi again, we're back in the lab. Somebody on All About Circuits asked about the external trigger on the oscilloscope right here. Here's my external trigger on my oscilloscope. I am using just a little breadboarded switch mode power supply. Haven't really put it on anything yet. But I'm looking at it and then you can see that it's switching. And then you can see a little bit of ripple down here. You can see it kind of peeking up and down. This is all nice and good, except I know the switching frequency. This thing switches about 220 kilohertz. Okay, so well, that's kind of boring after a little while, you know. You don't want to have one channel of your two-channel oscilloscope looking just at that trigger of the switch, you know. The bottom one's a lot more interesting. It's actually the noise on the output of my power supply, and it's kind of exaggerated. I just set this up real quick. But a lot of times when you're measuring the noise on a switch mode power supply, you can't trigger on it because the amplitude's so small. You know, it can be down in the tens of millivolts, and you're just not going to trigger on something like that. So it can even be lower too with different switch mode power supplies. So because this isn't interesting, but this is interesting, well, maybe we can find something else that might be interesting. So if I pull this out, and I'm triggering on channel 1 right now, I just pulled channel 1 out, and I put it into my external trigger, and I set it to external. Well, it's still triggering, but I'm getting DC on my channel 1, and I'm still getting my noise on my channel 2. Well, here's a third scope probe that's hooked up to another input, which is actually the output of an RC filter on my noise. So here's my switching noise. Now what I want to see is my switching noise and what the effects of my RC filter are. So I'll plug this in, and you can see that, yeah, there's maybe a little bit of attenuation, but not much. And the reason's because I've got these long leads and stuff, so they're picking up more switching noise. They're getting magnetic coupling from my inductor is really what's going on. Or mutual coupling, whatever. So, you know, that's one reason you'd use an external trigger. So I'm triggering on that one that was rising and falling a whole lot. But I get to see the effects of a filter in my power supply. So, hope that helps.